Hey guys, it's Brian. Before you go ahead and do anything else, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications if you want to see more content like this in the future. Anyways, on to the video. Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. And so today we have kind of an interesting video. I wanted to showcase you guys a deck that's probably most likely not going to get hit on the ban list at all. And that's Monarchs. After getting a slight boost in Lightning Overdrive, just want to share a deck profile with you guys, and hopefully we can go ahead and start uploading more videos soon. So just so you guys have an idea, in case you guys wanted to go ahead and hear my thoughts, you can go ahead and just keep playing the video. But in case you just wanted to have the deck profile, you can just go ahead and pause the screen if you don't want to hear the explanation because of the deck choices. But anyways, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel a lot. So, hang on to the main card that was brought to us from Lightning Overdrive. We have 3 Angamorphite. Very interesting card where it's, if you have no cards in the extra deck, except for this card in its name, so Angamorphite itself, you can go ahead and just pop it from your scale, draw a card, and then you can go ahead and bring it from your extra deck to the field. So, this is one of the main cards you want to go ahead and see turn 1, simply because of the fact it's a draw and a body on board, so you already have a way of tributing a card on field. Next we have 2 Yugioh. Yugioh's in here because it's still one of the best cards to go ahead and bring out in Monarch's turn 1, but there is a restriction of Yugioh where you can't summon out of your extra deck. So if anything, the cards that like for example Yugioh and the Monarch Stormforth and Monarch's Erupt, those are cards that you're going to have to make sure that you use after Angamorphite if you have the opportunity to, because of the fact that Angamorphite, if you try to go ahead and pop out from the scale, you won't be able to special summon it, which would go ahead and hinder the domain lock. So that's just something to keep in mind. To go with the Yugioh, we obviously have our 1 Eidos, and that's only at 1 because you don't want to really go ahead and get into the Eidos. If you have the Angamorphite, you want to keep that in your deck as long as possible. But for the big Mars, you have 2 Ether and 3 Eidos. 3 Eidos because it's probably the best one going first, because you get to rip a card out of your opponent's hand if you want to go ahead and summon out one of the big Monarchs. And not only that, it has great recursion from the graveyard, allowing you to get your Monarchs back from the graveyard. So it's just something to keep in mind. And Yugioh is there just so you can go ahead and continue and establish board presence. Going ahead and getting Karaz out of the deck. And not only Karaz, you can also get an Erebus out of your deck to the field, so that way you can have a follow-up play. And just so you keep that in mind. Next we have our 1 Karaz. Karaz is the card that you have a love-hate relationship for in this deck, because you can't attack with it the turn that it's normal special, so you're mainly using this for draw power. However, there's not really much use for it apart from that, unless you need to urgently get something out of your opponent's field, but you have to run the risk of them drawing cards from it. Next we have the 1 Majesty's Fiend. It's only 1 because it's searchable from the March, and because it's searchable, even though it does share the Monarch stats where you can use Tenacity with it, because it's searchable, I only run 1. However, you can go ahead and swap that out for an Erebos if you feel more comfortable switching out the Erebos for another your Majesties or another your Eidos. That's up to you, but that's simply my opinion, and I would rather keep the 1 Majesty. Next 3 Vanities, just to go ahead and emphasize that you do not want your opponent to advance the board, so you want to go ahead and lock them out of special summoning as much as possible. So Vanity's Fiend, since it's not searchable, this is going to be one of your main stars of the deck. So that's the main reason, because of Angamorphite. You have a body that's easy to go ahead and tribute for the Vanity's Fiend, so you're going to go ahead and try and go through your deck as much as possible to get to its summon. Next, we have 1 card advance, because Monarchs have a tendency of bricking. You want to go ahead and fix your hands as much as possible, and the additional benefit of having additional tribute for the turn is really helpful. So if you have any of your draw cards, in in the case of Upstart or Pantheism. And you can also try and force in, for example, a few copies of Allure of Darkness. Because of how many darks you're running, you can go ahead and just stack your deck for the cards that you need. So that's just something to keep in mind. And so if you have, let's say for example, Ankamorphite and Card Advance, you can go ahead and use Card Advance first to go ahead and fix the top of your deck to go ahead and draw the card that you need. For example, Vanity's Fiend. So you can go ahead and use Ankamorphite to go ahead and special summon yourself back out so you can tribute yourself for the Vanity's Fiend. Next, we have 3 Domain, because locking your opponent out of their extra deck is very, very powerful. Doesn't matter what part of the game we're in, it's still going to be a good effect no matter what. 1 Foolish Burial, because we can go ahead and get the Yugioh in the graveyard, and you can get your Erebus in the graveyard. So in that case, you need to go ahead and get something out of your hand, or get something back from your graveyard, or get something back, for example, Pantheism from the banished pile. You have that option, or even getting the Eidos in graveyard to go ahead and have a tribute monster live is also an option. So that's just a great card to have. 2 Foolish Burial Goods, because you are running cards like Pantheism and Prime Monarch. 2 great cards to go ahead and just have in your graveyard at any point, because Pantheism can help search a card out your deck, and Prime is your tribute fodder for the deck, so that's a great card to go ahead and have in your graveyard. 1 March, this can be changed, but this is simply my opinion. If you're going to be running Vanity's Fiend, you want to have a searchable way to protect it, so March is in there for that reason. However, you can switch this for the trap that allows you to normal summon from your hand during your opponent's turn. And so that's another option there. 1 for 1, because Yugioh is still a great option. 3 Pantheism, self-explanatory, draw power, search of the deck. Probably the most important card of the deck apart from the monsters itself and the domain lock. 3 Return to the Monarch, because everything can be searchable. 3 Tenacity, to search out any of your spells or traps that you need. 3 Monarch Stormforth, because you want to go ahead and see if your opponent happens to go ahead and have a monster that you don't like them having, you can go ahead and just tribute over it. 1 Upstart for consistency, and 2 Prime, mainly for the tribute fire, but having an extra one in the hand or a field just so you can go ahead and recur your graveyard is really, really good as well. And for the side deck, I just put in some example cards that you could go ahead and use. Phantasme is a great option to go ahead and fix your hand and going second, and that way you can go ahead and get cards like Nibiru. Nibiru is a great way, because not only are you getting rid of a card from getting rid of your field, your opponent's field, you also have a monster that you can tribute over. Dark Ruler, because you don't want to get your opponent to still have effects by the time you want to go ahead and summon out your tribute summon monsters, because of the fact that monsters do have a tendency of breaking it at every once in a while, and you want to have a way just to help you push through their lines of defense. 3 Lightning Storm for the same reason, and 3 Judgment for going first, in case that you have cards that you know what your opponent's playing, and you want to go ahead and protect yourself from those. You can just go ahead and safely put in 3 Judgments as a way of just holding on, so that way your opponent cannot just simply OTK you as a crackback. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, it really does help the channel a lot. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya!